Yes, good morning and welcome to Know Your Rights, our legal program on Lagoon Radio, your number one online gospel radio in Nigeria and the official radio of the Anglican Communion Diocese of Lagos. We are transmitting live from the Diocesan Media Center, 29 Marina, Lagos. It's a beautiful Friday morning, the 16th day of February 2023. 2024. I am Anosike Chimeze, welcoming you to today's edition of the program. And today, we will be looking at good guides in real estate transaction, proper due diligence. Yes, it's been a problem in Nigeria, especially the land grabbers and the rest of them. But we'll be taking a deep insight on what you need to do before you go into any of this transaction. And today we have Barrister Eric Nwani. He's the managing partner, Eric Owani and Associates. Barrister, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you.
Okay, now the real estate is a fast-growing business in Nigeria now. First of all, what made people to venture into this real estate now?
Okay. I think I would say that unlike every other industry that will have down times and up times, the real estate industry is one that rarely experiences a downtime, in the sense that a property that is worth 2 million today can never be sold for 1.5 million. It's either you're selling higher than you bought. It's always you selling more than the price you purchased, because at every point in time, a real property is appreciating in value. Be it a bush, at some time, development will eventually meet up with the forest, just like what we have in several parts of Lagos today, where you see places that were previously swamp areas have been sandfilled and given more value. Talking about the Ekpe axis and the Bejulekis. And back in the days, nobody thinks of going to that axis, but today everybody wants to have a slice of what is there. So that's one of the factors that has contributed in the growth of the real estate industry. Thank you.
Okay, now, what is due diligence?
Yeah, the real estate industry is just like every other sector, is a business. So, and for one to venture into any business, you have to take certain steps to see the possibilities of flaws, and just to be sure that what you are doing is a proper thing. Now, in the real estate industry, due diligence are those steps you take to not only ensure that you acquire title, but you acquire good title. So, in the course of your due diligence, you have to be sure that the person who you are dealing with is the rightful owner of the property, and that the property is not subject to government acquisition, like we have some parts in Lagos, and that at the end of your transaction, you get value for your money, and nobody will dragging you about and making you to spend more money in litigation and what have you not. So those steps you take to confirm that, one, the person who you are dealing with is rightful owner, the property is free from government acquisition, that at the end of the transaction, you'll be able to enjoy your investment. Those are what we call due diligence. Thank you.
Okay, now, we cannot talk about real estate and whatever without talking about the land use charge.
Very well.
Yes. Now, do the Land Use Act, does it in any way regulate the real estate business?
Yes, it does. It does. And in several occasions, it has played out. By virtue of the Land Use Act, the Act provides that the land in the state belongs to the governor, who holds it in trust for every citizen of the state. We have seen that play out where titles are revoked, the persons affected are compensated, and we've also seen people applying for direct government allocation in several areas. And who gives all these allocations is the governor. And even subsequent transactions on titles that already have a seal for gazetted excision, you see them applying to the governor for consent. So all of these are stipulated in the Land Use Act, and every prudent real estate business person will not overlook that.
Okay. Now, how does the Land Use Act regulate in Lagos? What do you need to do, or do the Land Use Act also regulate the activities of the Omonile?
Yes. Sometime during His Excellency's regime, that's His Excellency Latif Jakonde,
Okay.
there was a global acquisition of all the lands in Lagos. So families who were affected were then called to come and apply for excision. That is where the issue of excision started in Lagos. So that's, you see several land-owning families applying to the Lagos State government for excision, and it actually in stages. So it is the governor exercising his rights under the Land Use Act via that a global acquisition, and then asking the people to come in. But then we still have the land grabbers, of course, who are causing menace in the state, and that is where the state governor has also seen, or the state government has seen, the disruptions caused by them, and certain laws have been enacted to protect innocent businessmen in the real estate sector. So have several task forces have been set up. The land grabbers, anti-land grabbing, an arm of the Ministry of Justice at Alausa. So in event someone is trying to forcefully take over your land, you probably make a complaint to them. The person will be invited, you'll be invited, and meetings will go on. And at the end of the day, we'll ascertain the different rights of the individuals.
Okay. Now, our first question, somebody coincidentally is also the question I wanted to ask this the next time. Now, the question is, what agency are in charge of lands in Lagos?
Okay, we have the Lagos State Lands Bureau at
Okay.
Alausa is a ministry of the Lagos State government. So in due diligence, several flashpoints has to be taken care of. You can't just start negotiating on the property without knowing whether or not that property has a government registration, either a CFO, governor's consent, or it's been gazetted by the Session Gazette. So all of these can be ascertained from the Lands Bureau of the Lagos State government.
Okay. Now, before we go on a short break, what does Lagosians, we are just because we are in Lagos,
Yeah, of course.
what would be the benefit of Lagosians who engage in this real estate business, especially with the Lagos State government? Are there partnership with Lagos State government and some of these real estate agents?
Well, now, real estate agents or developers. Anyway, there is a program of the Lagos State government. It's called the Private Developers Program. It's when this current administration came in its first tenure, it had a lot of capital projects to execute, and then it had certain parcels of land that the government has reserved. So the program is basically calling on private developers
Okay.
apply for government allocation, pay the assessed fees, so government can generate revenue to execute its projects, and then you go ahead and develop that property that will be allocated to you. However, you are given a timeline. That's one. It must be in tandem with the master plan of Lagos.
Okay.
So it could be strictly residential, it could be mixed, it could be strictly commercial. So when you look at towards the Aja and the Bejuleki axis, that's what you see mostly happening there. Like if you go towards Orchard, that program was executed there. Now, along just by Freedom Way, there is an estate on your left. If you see it at the gate, PSDP, that's Private Sector Developers Program.
Oh,
Is that program that bettered that estate?
estate.
So same thing applies. Some are still at the groundbreaking. Some are still trying to come up with the money and all of that to pay the assessed fees so that they can go into full development. Some have actually built as well. So you see that way, you don't just see anybody buying a property and then bidding whatever he likes. Contrary to the, what do you call it, the master plan. So it has to go with the plan. It's more like a win-win for the private developers as well as the Lagos State government. Government is making money and executing the its capital projects. The developers are doing their business, of course, making profit as well.
Okay, now, is there a difference between the real estate agents and developers? You know, most especially in this Lagos Island, you hear more of developers than the real estate.
When you say real estate agents are basically persons who are in between the developers, so to say,
Okay.
or the people that own the land or the property itself, and prospective buyers. So you see mostly on Instagram, on Facebook and YouTube, you see someone puts himself out as a realtor. He is just marketing. Agents are marketers, so to say. They're basically marketers. They do not own that property. But they are helping the owners of the property to market it at a commission. So because for every sale, they get paid commission.
Okay.
Yes. But the title in the property itself, it's in the developer or the landowner, who then transfers to prospective buyers.
Okay. One question again before we go on a break. Someone asked, Shen, he said, "Good morning, Lagoon Radio. Please, I've heard of Las Rera in Lagos. What's their role in lands? Who are the Las Rera?"
Las Rela are the Lagos State real estate, what do they call them again? It's more like a regulatory body
Okay.
for real estate developers, more like the persons in the real estate industry, because we've had this issue of people springing up, I'm into real estate and all of that, and people get swindled and a whole lot of things happen.
Okay.
So yeah, to curtail that, the Lagos State government came up and said that, okay, we have to have an agency that would moderate the operations of a real estate people in the real estate sector. So for you to be to operate, you have to register with them. They will issue you a certificate. So in the routine checks, they may just walk into your office. Okay, you're into real estate. Where is your this certificate and all of that? So it's an agency of the Lagos State government that regulates the industry as well.
Oh.
Yes, just to curtail the let me just put it, the frauds there, because you see people part with their money and then no value for it at the end of the day. Yeah.
Okay, you're still on to Know Your Rights, our legal program on Lagoon Radio, your number one online gospel radio in Nigeria. And we are talking about good guides in real estate transaction. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll be looking at the legal perspective of this topic. What do I need to do? How do I get a lawyer to venture into real estate. Keep listening to us. We'll be right back after. Yes, you're welcome back. You still know you're right. Our legal program on Lagoon Radio, your number one online gospel radio in Nigeria and the official radio of the Anglican Communion Diocese of Lagos, transmitting live from the Diocesan Media Center, 29 Marina, Lagos. Don't forget to download the app on Google Play Store and Apple Store. Follow us on our social media platforms on Facebook, Lagoon Radio Nigeria, on Instagram and X, Lagoonradio.Ng. And for the studio line to call, 08189 4666 08189524666. We are live on Facebook. Yes, at Lagoon Radio Nigeria on Facebook. Just log in and you can see us live there, as well as YouTube on LagoonTV. Okay, Barrister Eric Wani is here, and we've been talking about good guides in real estate transaction, proper due diligence. Now, when we talk about good guides, part of the good guides is getting a lawyer. And we'll talk about fraud in the real estate business and the rest of them. So, how do I get a lawyer to venture into real estate business?
Okay. Getting a lawyer in Nigeria or in Lagos is very simple and easy. On the MBA website, for instance, you can check the MBA portal, MBA website, and then search or find a lawyer who can help you in your transactions. There are also various platforms where you can as well get a lawyer. Also, the traditional means, asking someone that probably knows someone that knows a lawyer. So it's more of it's a referral thing, because you would want someone who has dealt with someone before and then has an experience. Okay, this person is good in this. So the referral procedure works, and that means also is through the MBA website that has the list of all lawyers in Nigeria. So you log into the website, find a lawyer, and of course, it comes up at the one that is close to you. Lagos, Abuja, Kano, Port Harcourt, what have you.
But is it as easy as you've said?
It's actually easy.
Okay.
Actually easy. But of course, I know for anyone that wants to hire the services of person would want to be very careful as to the expertise of that person in that field. So that is where the referral issue comes in. So lawyers are not allowed to advertise, of course. Yes, we are not allowed to advertise. So the profession is a conservative one. So, but that's where you either check the website, the MBA website that has a list of lawyers, or you go with the referral method, or you can as well check on LinkedIn. You have lawyers in different fields on LinkedIn as well. So the social media platform as well comes in. Yeah. So that's
Okay. Now, why do I need a lawyer?
good. I think that's a very important question, because for every step on the way, you need a lawyer's guide to ensure that you are putting in your money in the right place. The lawyer will help you to carry out the different search at different flashpoints. So there are various places that you need to conduct a search, and it's a lawyer that is going to do that for you. From the Lands Bureau, that's the Land Registry, Alausa, the Surveyor General's office, of course, to ascertain that the survey attached to the title documents of the property you intend to buy is actually recognized, and the property is situated at where it is. So you do a charting at the Surveyor General's office. And of course, you have to be sure that this property is not subject to litigation. So that's where the court comes in. So you also have to do your search in the court registry as well.
Oh.
So, and all of this has to be done by a lawyer.
Okay.
So because at the end of it, so it's not enough to tell you that, okay, everything is fine, you can go. The lawyer has to issue you a report. And it's that report that will then guide your next line of action, whether to proceed or not to proceed. So that's why it's very important that you retain this, because we've had cases. If you want to do it yourself from the beginning, you may run into challenges that will make you to even pay more, because when it's easier to spoil something than to repair it. So if you take the right step from the beginning, it goes smoothly. But when there is a hitch on the way, that means you're trying to do damage control, which would cost more, and all of that.
Okay. Now, can a lawyer also help in securing the C of O?
Yeah, a lawyer can. A lawyer can go through the CFO procurement process for you. Submit an application, the documents and all of that, follows up with the office of the registrar of title, and say that, okay, your papers are moving, and it gets to the governor's desk, and then you pay your fees, and then you have your documents out. Now, let me quickly point out something. People are mixing up CFO, governor's consent, survey.
Oh.
They are all different legal documents, and they have a different degree of importance. They are all important, anyways. But then you may be making inquiries. People be asking probably a rate. Okay, I'm interested in this property. What are the title documents? They'll tell you register survey. But that sometimes when I hear it, I'll be like, okay, register survey. That's a survey. Basically shows you the boundary of the land. It's a legal document that delineates the boundaries of the land and nothing more. So telling me the title document is registered survey is more like telling me that there is no title document. So because the C of O is a title document.
Okay.
Now, governor's consent is a title document. In a property where there is an existing C of O, there can be another C of O on that same land. The further documents you process on any transaction on that parcel of land has to be you are applying for the governor's consent. Governor's consent and registered deed, they are the same. The registered deed, I mean, it's not this one, the stamp.
Okay.
Registered deed at the lands registry, because I've asked someone before, okay, say how there's a registered deed, okay, can I have a look at so that I would get the number and then do my search and all of that. Lo and behold, what I was presented with was the normal one there, just pay a stamp, duty stamp on it. So I told him, okay, that this is not a registered survey. This is not a registered deed. A registered deed will have a registration number, volume, page. Okay, so that's so I just wanted to make the clarification as regards these 3 documents. Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you for that clarification, because oftentimes I thought they are all the same, the governor's consent and C of O. I never knew that they are on different levels.
No, they are on different levels.
Okay, now moving forward, Kelvin asked a question. He said, good morning, Lagoon Radio, and good morning, the barrister. Please, the barrister is sounding as if getting a lawyer is too easy in Nigeria. What if I don't have the funds first? How do I get a lawyer?
Well, you need funds to get a lawyer anyways, because someone that wants to deal in real estate should have money. Yeah, so, and you can't be pricing a property without having money.
Oh.
Yeah, so yes. So why putting together the funds for the property, also put together the lawyer's fee for the documentation and due diligence? They come together. So if that's the difficulty, then I think the person should source the lawyer's fund first. Then.
Okay, but can this be? I heard some of your colleagues talking about pro bono. Can a real estate deal?
You cannot do real estate on pro bono.
Okay, this is pure business.
This is business.
Oh.
When you're talking about pro bono, we are looking at indigent persons who are incarcerated in the correctional centers, who do not have anybody to come for them. So we extend the pro bono to them. That's way, not for someone who wants to expand his empire.
Oh. Okay, now, just as we've talked about getting a lawyer,
yes, sir. What
do I need again to venture into real estate?
Okay, I honestly think that a lawyer who has expertise in the real estate sector, it's all you need, because that same person would have a surveyor that would be able to chart the survey on the land. If there is none, to pick coordinates and do the charting at the Surveyor General's office to ascertain. So, but in event the lawyer doesn't have, then you need a surveyor as well to pick your coordinates.
Okay.
Do the charting and ensure that, okay, what you have on the paper you are giving is what is on site. So as to size, as to whether it's free from acquisition or not. And of course, the delineation, okay, Mr. A is sharing boundary to the west with Mr. B and what have you not. And how far or close is it to the road as well. Then the layout of where it is, does it correspond? So that somebody doesn't sell road to you at the end of the day.
This has been my biggest fear, talking about selling road. Now, somebody asked me a question when we posted the flyer of the program. what if I make that mistake of buying a land that has been bought? What do I do?
Okay. That has been a predominant issue where you see Omonilers double dealing. They'll say to Mr. A, say to Mr. B, the same parcel of land, and most cases they step aside. Mr. A and Mr. B will be battling themselves. They'll be in court. They'll be here. They'll be there. So the thing, and that's why it's important to do your due diligence, because that would reveal to you whether or not the property has been sold to someone else. That is where the due diligence comes, because you don't just do your due diligence at the government offices. You also have to visit the land, ask questions, people around, because rarely do you have a parcel of land that nobody lives near or nobody has next one to it. If I own this parcel of land, I will most likely know who owns the next one. So if I want to buy this, I'll say, okay, fine. Who has this one? Has it been sold? They say yes. Okay, I say, who has it? I may just, maybe behind them, I may make an inquiry to find out who has it. Okay, do you know if this property is vacant? Is it free or has it been sold? So the person will most likely know and tell me. That's aside the search and all of that, the chatting and all of that I've done with the government. I have to do my traditional due diligence as well. It's after all of these are done and I'm comfortable that this is a good deal, I'll then do my report to the client and tell him, okay, we are good to go. But if I find anything not regular, I have to point it out to him that this and these are what I found. On this basis, I'm advising against this transaction.
Okay.
That's that.
But are there times someone can do the real due diligence and still fall into trap of these fraudsters?
Well, hardly. But if there be any foul play, it's probably the property that has been sold to you is being sold to another person. You are the first purchaser. So maybe someone else wants to come and the person will probably not do the proper thing, and then they now sell the same property to the person. So only for the person may be ready immediately to move to site and maybe start work and all of that. Then you now hear, okay, somebody is on my land. That is where it's. But on your part, if you do your proper due diligence, you hardly have that issue from onset. It could be a subsequent issue from someone who did not do the proper thing. So hardly does it come up. But of course, to every general rule, there's an exception. So the exception has to be a secondary buyer, of which you stand a better position and chance against the person anywhere.
Okay. Now, what would be your advice to anyone who wants to venture into real estate, especially in Lagos? Because the stories are not friendly, and out there is like a war zone. So, what would be your advice to anyone?
Okay. My advice is the property investment is not something you do in a rush. If someone shares an offer with you now, say this property is up for sale, some even come in the guise of it's a distress sale. It's going for so amount and more like fastest finger. But then we're talking about millions. Yeah, especially property within Lagos Island, we're talking about millions. It's not something you just pick up and then throw without considering, do I need this? It's a good investment, fine, but you have to trade with caution. That's that, because it's once money leaves, to recover the money, you have to spend more money.
Oh,
yes. For every recovery, you have to spend money. That's the thing. So it's advised that you take your time, apply caution, and verify all that is presented to you at every possible flashpoint, so that you'll be convinced that, okay, this is truly a good deal. I should proceed with it. So my advice to prospective real estate investors is in Lagos, and of course anywhere in Nigeria, is don't be in a rush to buy a property. It's not a perishable goods. It's something that years to come, if you invest properly, you'll be glad you did. So in order not to cry at the end, take your time and comb every where you need to comb to ascertain that what you're presented with is genuine, is true.
Okay, now, before we go, sometimes, to get something from government is a very long time. It takes a very long time. Now, if per adventure someone's land is encroached or maybe taken over by the government without compensation, what will the person do?
Okay, the thing is, government doesn't just move. It takes I know I've experienced several of them. They do series of engagements
Okay.
with the stakeholders in the community, for instance. So the list of persons affected by that will be collated and all of that. Okay, take for instance the Fourth Mainland Bridge that is coming up. They are currently collating everyone that will be affected by that project, so that before they kickstart, they would have either resettled them or compensated them in any way. So what happens most times is, maybe someone is you don't, but there's, with the news that go on often before the actual thing happens, I don't know, a prudent person should have gotten wind of it, and of course ask the right questions. Okay, we that have properties there, what will happen to us? Someone somewhere will direct you, okay, this is the person doing the collection of names, and you can submit whatever you have. And again, most times, because government is government, the developers as well most times engage the stakeholders of the community. That, okay, government has allocated this to us, we want to do this, we are going to be your neighbors, we'll do this, we'll do that, but still we know that we've been affected by this act. So how do we come in so that we can have peace? Because someone dealing in large scale, that will eventually say to subsequent subscribers, would need peace to do business, to do your development, to do whatever you need to do. So in order for you to have that peace, you have to still engage them, and then have them on your side, so to say. So that's that.
Okay, and that's where we leave it this morning on Know Your Right. We must sincerely thank you, Barrister Eric, for coming on the program.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for educating us this morning. And thank you for tuning in, and thank you to Sheung and Michael for your messages. And the show returns again, same time next week. From me, Anosi Kechimezi, and our producer, Sandra, is goodbye, and do have a lovely weekend.